Hello and welcome to another edition of IIABCal Voices. I'm your host, James Lott Jr., and I used to work in the insurance industry here in Southern California and Northern California, and I get to talk to some of my friends who are still in it and doing amazing things. We're going to learn a little personal stuff from them, professional accolades, and this person I've known for nearly 20 years. I was like 2 years old when I met him. But we're going to talk to him because he is the president of Crescenta Valley Insurance. But let me read you just a sampling. I mean, the list goes on forever, but a sampling of his community industry involvement. And some of these I remember because I knew him then. Past president of the Montrose Verdugo City Chamber of Commerce. Past president of Crescenta Valley Chamber of Commerce. Crescenta Valley Chamber of Commerce honorary mayor, folks, okay? The announcer of the Montrose Christmas Parade. Hey, you know the voice, I love voices, of course. Past president of the insurance brokers and agents of Burbank, Glendale, and Pasadena, folks, 3 cities. Chairman of the Young Agents and Brokers, Insurance Brokers Conference. I know that one. Also, director for the Insurance Brokers and Agents of the West, where I used to work for, of course. Inaugural president of the Crescenta Valley Fireworks Association, sure, why not? And president of the Insurance Brokers Agents of the West. This person is just like, I mean, he's amazing. We've kept in touch through social media, and I'm just very happy to see him. Rick Dinger. Hi, Rick.
Well, thank you very much, James.
We got the memo. Our shirts are like.
I guess so. Yeah. Oh, good stuff.
I mean, okay. So when I read, because like I said, I've known you nearly 20 years, and when I read some of your, and these are just some of the things you've done. How does that hit you now when you hear this is your life, so to speak, Rick? How does that hit you?
It's crazy. You know, my mom always said idle hands are the devil's handiwork. So I always try to stay busy. You know, with our business, it's kind of, you can kind of stay indoors and behind the desk and computer nowadays, or you get out amongst people. I found that to be going out and doing a lot of those things, being part of those organizations was my way of getting out amongst people and talking to people and getting to know people and meet people. But also, I think a lot of it gave me experience in leadership and speaking in front of people. And it made me more of an all-around business person, I guess, you know. So well, it's stuff I enjoyed, but it was busy, you know.
You are very personable. You know, you and I hit it off from the very beginning. From what I remember, we hit it off from the very beginning. I mean, I met you at a conference, at one of the conferences, and I probably had different hair back then. And you know, and we hit it off. And you are a very personal person. So a lot of these positions, we'll talk about us in a second, but a lot of these positions are chairman, president. I mean, like that's just amazing to me. That's amazing that you must like leadership then.
You know, when I get involved in things and I kind of have my mind set on the way I think it could be done better, I you know, instead of just sitting back complaining about, oh, you know, they should do this, they should do that. I said, you know what, let me get in there and see if I can make some adjustments and changes and give things a try. And they don't always work, but a lot of times it does work. And I think I've improved things, and it gives me great sense of pride when I see things 15 years later and they've still maintained those adjustments that I made that have helped make them successful in a lot of these groups. So it's, I find that interesting and fun.
So you're kind of the, if you don't see it, be it kind of person.
Yeah, I think so. I'd rather much to get involved and do things, you know. Not much to watch on TV, so you got to get out there and, you know, get involved in stuff.
I don't know, TV, I mean, I work in television, of course, but I don't watch that much TV, though. I work in it, but I don't watch that much in there. When you are a chairperson, chairman, when you are a president, what are 2 things you think, in your opinion, make for a good chairperson or a good president of an association or a business? What are 2 things you think really make it work?
You know, obviously surrounding yourself with great people. You know, we flash back to the young agents days, you know, and we had some amazing people
yes.
in my committee, and then let them do their work, you know. Encourage them to reach out to other people to help them do their job, you know. Don't micromanage. Let people, you know, find the great people and let them run with their vision, their ideas. You know, you're going to chime in here and there, but for the most part, you trust them to do the work. And I think it works out best for everyone. You know, when you're trying to grind your vision into somebody else, and it doesn't fit their vision, it's not going to work. So I think that
I love that. I love that. You're a team player.
I do my best.
But no, I mean, that's something, you know, people a lot of times they get positions of that ilk. It's like, no, it's my way. I'm going to rule it. We've all been there. We've seen it. I'm ruling it this way. I want it this way to be done. But the fact that I love that when a good leader surrounds himself with good people, and there's no jealousy, there's no like craziness. It's just like, you still look good, right? When you have good people around you.
Yeah. And they say what great things can be done when nobody cares who gets the credit. I think that was Thomas Jefferson said that, and it still holds true to today.
I like that. I'm sure I heard it somewhere, but I don't know. I like that. I like that a lot. And so what's it been like running insurance these days? We were going through a strange time period in history that we're all going through together, which is also another kind of commonality. How's it been for your business?
Well, it's crazy. And I flash back to when I started. When I was 18 years old, I got my license, and then kind of started selling probably in my 20s. And that was back in the day when you didn't have MapQuest, right?
Oh my God.
You didn't have a cell phone. If you're lucky, you had a pager, right? If you're technology savvy, you had a pager that put out a number on the screen. But then as you're driving in the middle of some horrible neighborhood where manufacturing is going on and your pager goes off or you're lost, you got to make a phone call. You pull up to a nasty payphone that's gross.
Yes.
You better have, it was dimes for even back then, 26 way call. And so, and you'd see a lot more people and do a lot more things. Now I think it's, this Zoom thing's pretty amazing. I haven't really done that with my clients yet. It's more of, committees and that type of stuff I'm part of. But now it seems like it's all just on the phone and talking to people and, zapping stuff back and forth over the computer, which is good and bad. It saves on driving. And as far as what's happening in the second, it's really weird. There's no traffic anymore, which is crazy.
I know it's crazy. I'm in LA and it really is 20 minutes to get everywhere.
Yeah. The 405, you can fly around and get places when you want to get there. I think that that's the upside. The downside is it's hurting some businesses. We're seeing, we insure a bunch of beauty salons, barber places. They're closed. We're seeing a lot of payrolls down. We're seeing a lot of sales down, which is causing some return premium, which means return commission, which is obviously not our favorite thing in the world. Yeah. But for the most part, everyone's kind of hanging in there, and they I think we all kind of feel that there's an end to the program here, and we'll get through this together.
So you are hopeful that it's just that it's a period of time. We're gonna find our way out, and
we always survive. We're Americans, we'll figure a way one way or the other.
I know. I agree with that. We do. But I think what's funny for me, I've been really enjoying actually watching people navigate this in a way where they're finding creative ways to get business. They're getting creative ways in their business. They're finding other avenues. Because I know a lot of us have all these, like you have a lot of different skill sets. You've done a lot of different things that maybe applying them to your business. So have you had to kind of like figure things out too in some ways for you or for your staff or anybody?
I think that we're leveraging technology, and with agents, it's one thing this happened. If this happened 20 years ago, where people couldn't come into work, it would be a disaster because we had files. We had filing cabinets, and you couldn't really do your work without the files, without the mail coming in and seeing what was going on. Now, I've got a bunch of people still working from home, even though I think the COVID scare is we're coming to the office, we're essential, and all that. But now that's the school problem. And we've got some people with school-age children that can't leave their kids at home all day and not expect them to do their homework. So they've got to kind of stay home and monitor them. So that's created some challenges. I just got off a Zoom call with other agents that we work with. And, their concern is, how do you track exempt versus non-exempt and hourly and overtime and that type of thing. So that's a little scary HR issue that we have to deal with here in the immediate future. But fortunately, like I said, with the internet, with agency management systems, we're able to kind of conduct business as is, and really not a lot of disruption to our clients.
As I'm a professional organizer also in my other life, and I'm finding a lot of my clients are like, now I see how important systems being in place are very important, aren't they, Mr. Rick Dinger? Having things in place, and you're seeing but also your things are being revealed too. I'm sure, like, ooh, we need to fix this area, right?
No question, and I think that it's helping us get better. It's definitely making us a better agency, having to go through some of these exercises. And my always fear it was going to be the earthquake that knocked the building down. It was going to have us working remotely. That's what I always assumed was going to be the case. And I would have thought it was some virus would come in and knock everybody on their keisters. So
we are Southern Californians, Did you feel the earthquake the other day? Did you feel it the other week?
I did not.
I didn't feel it either. I don't know. So for me, earthquakes don't really scare me. I grew up here. I kind of just I know in California you have earthquakes. I wasn't some of the big ones. It's something, and they are not fun. Don't get me wrong. I don't enjoy earthquakes, but I don't know. I just a jolt here and there. I don't,
Yeah.
life goes on. So you were 18 years old, and we got why insurance?
So it was my dad had the agency, and he had a partner, and at that time they had two insurance companies leave the state of California: Rathbone King and Sealy, and Century Indemnity. And so we were getting about 90 non-renewals a month. And so myself and my dad's partner's two kids got in, and we were given these non-renewals, and we had to contact the people, get a hold of them, rate them. We had one rating machine in our office. Then we had to bring them in to sign them up for the insurance, because nothing was done over the phone. You had to bring them in, they had to sign with a wet signature. And just as we'd start to get a hold of people, just as we start rating them, it'd walk in and hand us each about another 30 or 40 non-renewals. So now it was crazy. So it was definitely trial by fire, and trying to, learn on the run and try to get these people covered and maintain that book of business, and all for a whopping $5 an hour we were getting paid back then. So it was crazy, and it was, it taught me. I actually drew up some form letters that I'd fill in by hand, they were typed up and I'd Xerox them, right? And just to say, hey, please contact us, because I wasn't going to type all these letters out. And then I'd say, okay, hey, here's your new premium. Please call me to insure it. So, I could just hand write them in to help me create a system to do it, because it was literally, we were losing our minds for a year trying to keep these people, keep the books, the business on the book. So that's how I learned. We violated probably every Mercury rule in the book, trying to, as we were learning, got a lot of memos, a lot of uprates, which are brutal. It was trial by fire, and that's how we learned.
But why it was like for you to be so young? A lot of people find, like, I've done many careers, and I think I found it now, but at 40 I found it. Why do you think you just? I mean, it seems so natural for you. Like, why do you find it so young?
Well, frankly, I watched my dad, and he seemed to be having a pretty good time, and
I like that.
definitely afforded us a pretty good living. Got to go to private school and took great vacations and such. So I said, and my dad played a lot of golf back then. So I said, this, I like this opportunity. So it was kind of it was a fun-driven career choice. And now, and I love it, frankly, because you can do what you want to do when you want to do it as far as work. If I want to work with athletes, I can work with athletes, or contractors, or big houses, or whatever you decide you want to go after, whatever your interests are, you can jump in there. I chose, unlike probably not by recommendation of the industry, where they say, oh, you got to find a niche and go with it. I'm more of a geographical niche. And as by that laundry list, the nonsense I've done over the years, I've kind of built myself a little place here in town, and with people to know me, and I've kind of created a presence that's helped. But I know other agents. One of them grew up in a plumbing family and went to go work for an agency, and he's destroying it. He's super successful because he's got the contacts in the construction industry. He's got the knowledge of the business, and now he's selling the products, and he's knocking it out of the park. So that's the beauty of our business. Whatever interest you might have, you can go after it. And I know golfers that go after golf course, and they do a great job there because they're great golfers. So like I said, my niche has always been geographical, which, like I say, has never been written in a book that's a great idea, but it's worked for me so far.
Well, I'm an out-the-box thinker myself, so I've always been myself. So I feel like, why not? I mean, it may not work for everybody, but to take a chance, it works for you. I mean, you made a chance, and obviously you're in the business. That sometimes doing that, not following the beaten path, not following the salmon upstream, what I mean? It worked out. It works out. You found something.
I had for one time. I was this is probably 20 years ago ish. I thought I found a great niche within Mercury Insurance, and they were doing 1 hour Photoshops, because those machines would cost $100,000, and so it generated a pretty good premium. I had a whole little system where I'd send out these mailers, and I'd get response, and it was super profitable. I wrote a ton of 1 hour Photoshops. Well, you got to be flexible, because turns out that's not the best business in the world anymore. It kind of got so. That's one of the lessons I learned. Never, you put all your eggs in one basket, you get in trouble. So we're going to pivot, right?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have my tentacles are in all kind of stuff. So when one ebbs, the other one flows, and one ebbs. I mean, I've survived the last 11 years in Los Angeles because of that. Yeah, I don't do one thing either. There's times when I feel like sometimes I'm an old guy in my industries, because I remember before cell phones and pagers, and finding, and having to use Xerox machines and, mimeograph things at libraries. I remember all having encyclopedias. It's so funny. How do you stay relevant? and current? And because does the insurance industry morph and change like others? Or I mean, how do you stay relevant?
It's a combination. I think technology, you got to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of technology because it's changing rapidly and you don't want to be left behind. B, you need to stay educated in insurance. And I've always used the association as kind of my main source of information and learning, and attending all the conferences and things like that have helped me. But however, you mentioned technology. Just earlier, I was on a Zoom call with a bunch of insurance agents, and I was hosting the call, and so I had to check out because I had to make another phone call. So I muted I thought I muted myself. I turned the sound down on the Zoom, and I froze my screen. I put my picture up, and I started making a phone call, and I'm looking at all the people still on my other screen. They're kind of laughing, and I start getting texts and emails saying, "Rick, you need to mute yourself." And so they got to hear the beginning of my sales call. So I got made fun of for being an old guy. Now I'm 4 years old. I go, geez, I'm starting to become my dad. I won't be able to work the remote control pretty soon. It's terrible.
I cuss at things all the time now. And I'm like, why is it not working? Why is it not having what's going on? They're like, here's the button. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
I see people talking on the U-Zooms like, go ahead and push that button at the bottom of the screen so we can hear you talk now. But yeah. So anyways, like I said, I got made fun of today, but I'll just deal with that.
Hey, we're still here. That's right. And you're pretty useful. And because I've watched, your sons are like, they're young men now. I remember when they're like born. They're young men. To you and Heather, congratulations. But are any of them wanting to do insurance?
My youngest is a junior in high school, and he's now he says, I think he's kind of seeing the same thing I do. Hey, you know what? It's a pretty good time. And so I think he wants to get into it. So I've got kind of a plan for him. If he wants to do it, he'll have to graduate from high school and then, graduate from college, excuse me. And then figure out, then we'll kind of plan it out for him. But, I was just kind of throwing in the fire, and I wouldn't do that to him. I'd like to see him go work somewhere else for a bit and then, come into play. So it seems like that's the best recipe. But it doesn't always work. But, I keep making plans, and they have to keep getting adjusted. But, it is what it is.
That's parenthood. That's what this guy happens that way. But I was curious if anybody in your family would get into it also. And that'd be kind of fun. Is this your passion?
I don't know. I enjoy helping people, and I really appreciate when they're like, "Geez, Rick, thanks so much." And I get that a lot, and the people I'm dealing with appreciate what I do, so I enjoy that. But a lot of the stuff I do on the outside of the agency, which happens to be with either with the charities, the Rotaries, or whatever, what it might be part of. To me, that's what kind of gets me excited. That's what kind of gets me pumped up in the morning. Hey, man, we're running a big golf tournament today, or there's a big event tonight, or I'm the auctioneer for the gala, and I need to make it funny for people. What can I need to get some good humor rolling for these things. So that kind of gives me kind of the motivation, and that's kind of what I enjoy. And then if I'm not doing that, I like to play a little golf here and there. So
I know you do
better at that, but what the heck?
I know you do. Explain to folks who may be watching where Crescenta Valley is. They don't know.
It's right in the heart of God's country. Everybody knows where that is. We're about we're just outside of Glendale. We're just west of Pasadena and about 10 minutes north of downtown. Which right now it's about a 6-minute drive to downtown from here because it's straight down the 2 freeways. So
I know.
Yeah, they call ourselves, we're the balcony of Los Angeles, right here in the foothills.
The balcony of Los Angeles. I kind of like that. I've never heard that part, but I know where you are. But I'm not just like the balcony of Los Angeles. I like that. I do. I like that. What is it like on an average day for you these days? I know things have changed and things are going on, but are you still busy on basically a lot of calls? It's just kind of this like, you're doing calls, emails, because I know nowadays there's not a lot of meetings in person anymore. Like, you're not going off anywhere. So is your day pretty busy from the time you walk in to the time you walk out?
I wish I could say it was. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of exposed what my day look like because, it's always been, sell some insurance, right? Then I deal with company people, and then the extracurricular stuff I do, whether it's with the football teams, or the quarterback club, and the Rotary, a lot of stuff, right? Well, all that stuff's been shut down, right? There's no company people coming in here anymore. And really, they're not even, maybe you'll do a Zoom call or a Zoom call here and there with them, but very little of that. Zero outside events happening. So I got my work that's done about 2 hours, and I kind of sit around here as long as I can. And I've been playing a lot of golf, because
I love it. I don't tell the golf. I love it.
In the early on, before email came around and cell phones were prevalent, you always had this like 2-day lag. I put it in the mail to you. When you get it in the mail, sign it and bring it back. So you always had this lag back and forth. And it's almost back to that again, because it's like, hey, I need this, just email it to me. And then you can leave, and then in the morning there, it's in your email box. So you can become very efficient, getting a lot of work done early on, but then it's just weird because there's just nothing happening in the afternoons, and it's, it's not really the great time to be cold calling people because nobody really wants to hear from anybody.
Yeah. Interesting.
But there's not a lot of, it's a different world right now. And like I say, it really kind of exposed my daily routine, because I could probably double my sales if I doubled my sales time, but who knows?
I love it. Okay, so we met a long time ago. I was working for IBA West Insurance Skill Center, which now is IIABCal. Insurance Skill is gone. I worked for the education side, so I used to help with conferences, throw conferences. And I guess by looking at us, I don't know, would people think we were friends? Like, we hit it off very much at all the conferences. I remember you as somebody who was very friendly, very personable, and just you seemed like you liked what you were doing. And then insurance was new for me in the beginning. I was just like, I don't know what this is about. I really don't know what's going on. I was kind of learning as I went along. I don't know any memories of me. Like, I don't remember really memories of me back then.
Yeah, you were the creative force behind our operation, and our young agents events were definitely benefited with your presence, because you had the creative ability, and we had the fun. We brought the fun, but not so much creative. But no, it was.
Well, Jill Turner was there, kind of getting ready, and we worked together. We come on, me and Nicholas Paris would come on, and these two little.
Jill Turner, Jen Thuma, you said Jill, I almost said Jill, but Jen Thuma was, obviously a great team player of ours too. So it was, that was an amazing group of people who worked together.
I always felt because I wasn't an insurance person, that I came from other fields, I kind of came on, that I had a different perspective. I had a fresher perspective when it came to being creative and talent and all. Because we would have, because these events, they were big. These are some big events and great locations. Great hotels. We had dancing and band come play, and and the golfing stuff, and we had a lot of events back then. I remember having a lot of fun, but I remember just how grand they were. And I just wonder if we'll get back to that again sometime.
Well, it was nice too with you bring an outside perspective, because I always thought we were the only ones in the world doing those things, right? And then you get a lot, or you go on vacation, you go someplace, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, there's pipe fitters. They're doing the exact same thing we did. Oh, look at this whatever group you can imagine. Oh, look, whoever they have fun too. I thought it was just insurance agents, but putting on events. So I always thought, like I said, we invented the wheel. I thought, but turns out I guess we didn't. But and insurance people are a little closed-minded. So yeah, we had some a lot of great people bringing influence to make those events are amazing. And like you said, they were huge. It was I did the math one time, and the amount of money being spent on those weekends, the amount of business generated from those weekends was significant. And it was.
And we had some great education programs and tracks, and great instructors, speakers. We know a lot of them. I know a lot of them. I still know some of them today. They were really, because how important is it to cultivate young, new brokers and agents into the industry?
Well, it's critical, and I think it's going to be different because they're not used to the socialization and from the people I met at Young Agents 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I'm still doing business with them. Some of the company names have changed, but the reps are still there. The GA brokers I use, I met at these events, and that's where I made the relationship, and that's where I became friends with them, and it's really helped my business. So I think nowadays you can't really form those relationships by being online or getting emails, or just being on the phone. You might get some deals done, but the majority of the stuff I think still has to be done the old school way, by knowing people and knowing, the underwriter has a stack of applications on their desk. There's how do you get yours to the top? How do you get your quote out? So
yeah,
you need to learn those skills.
And we do need, new blood all the time. I feel like some people have been in business for a long time. They start to kind of retire and die out. So you need people to come in to keep revigorating it and keeping the mission going, right? And also adding new things to the mission, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's very important. So why should someone join IIABCal, in your opinion? Like, why should they join the association?
You know, for me, it's been a game changer, 100%. Probably three things that made my career. I'd say being part of the association was one of them. The contacts I made, the information I gained from the seminars and such, but also the fact I can pick up my phone and say, hey, I need to place a COC risk in kind of a sketchy area. Who do I go to? I can make 3 phone calls to get that information. It would take me 3 weeks to research that, and I know I get it at my fingertips now. Relationships I made, I've joined cluster agencies. I've formed partnerships with other agents that I met through these associations that it would have never happened. I'd have been an island had I not done that, and that's really made a big difference for me. So it's, I think, association membership. On top of that, you're also supporting the industry that you're a part of. When I was back, 87, Proposition 103 passed, and it just about bankrupted our insurance agency. And it was like, man, how come these politicians don't get it, what they're doing to our economy and to the insurance world? They fixed it sort of eventually, but I said at that point, I said, look, I need to make sure that these politicians at least know my name. And I've worked hard to where basically a lot of them are friends of mine now, and I've got their cell phones, and they'll hear from me if things are going weird, and they'll kind of understand there's every decision they make has a ramification, and our industry has suffered by some bad ramifications. John Norwood and Aaron Norwood's done an amazing job keeping us out of trouble and making sure that we're not just a pen swipe away from being out of business, which can happen in a government like California's.
Yes. I just think it's always nice to be part of something larger than yourself. We know we're out there independent, and we're independently, this is part of the title. You're out there as little satellites kind of orbiting around doing your things. We're not all part of the same corporation. So it's not that corporate structure where the water cooler, like we're all together talking. Like, I kind of like these things. I like that association kind of brings that to you. It's like you're part of something larger, part of the village where you said, I even to this day, I'm not even part of it. I've called people and go, I need advice on this. I can call them because the relationship is there and because I met them through the association.
No question.
So I agree with you completely. I think it's very beneficial to be part of something that can look out for you, be in solidarity with you, and just the resources. I mean, when you're on your own, you're on your own. No man's an island. You gotta have, that's have people around that may know something you don't know or have access to something that you don't have access to.
No question.
I think that's a great thing. So what do you do? Because we're at home. I can't really do that much besides golfing. Any hobbies or anything you're taking up right now? Anything you're doing right now, Mr. Dinger?
Well, I just finished my my quest for a 2-year degree. After high school, I played football at Cal State Northridge, and that didn't pan out for me. I didn't go pro, so I left that early. Started selling insurance more full time, sort of, and then I decided about 10 years ago to go back and wrap up my Glendale College 2-year degree, and I ran to algebra, so I quit doing that. And then when COVID hit, I said, this is the time. And so ended up being a statistics class I took online. Was the last class I had to take. Wow. Well, just got my diploma. Came in the mail yesterday, as a matter of fact. I got my 2-year degree. It was a 35-year quest for a 2-year degree is now complete. So that, and then one of my sons is playing football now at Dakota Wesleyan University, and I think we're going to actually relocate out there for a month to watch his game, so I don't have to fly back and forth. And they're wide open there in South Dakota, so I'm gonna go hang out there. Other than that, just hanging out with the family and playing a lot of golf. That's
amazing. And see, again, it's like life doesn't end at 25 or 30. I tell people that all the time, that you can actually still do stuff. As long as you wake up every morning, you can still do stuff. So congratulations on, what is your 2 degree in? What is it in?
Social studies, turns out, of all things, right? Okay. I think when I was a woman in my Rotary Club, was the dean of students, and I mentioned I hadn't finished, and maybe I should go back to Glendale College. She goes, oh, you need to do this. And so she figured out the best path for me, because I had a bunch of units saved up at Northridge. Except I told her she couldn't judge me by my GPA there. But however, I graduated with a 3.0. With even the bad grades at Northridge, I brought it all up with I took 9 classes at Glendale College to get my degree. So,
see, when people tell me they don't have time for nothing, he did it. There's time for everything. You have to want to do it, and then you have to want to make the time. I mean, it's seriously, what a great accomplishment. We're gonna end it on that. I think it's very cool of you, Rick Dinger. Thanks for being on the show, Rick.
Always good to see you, James.
Same here. Now, tell folks out there, if they want to find you guys or anywhere, either on social media or phone calls or websites, please give them that information.
Well, you can always find us Facebook. I'm Rick Dinger, and Rick Dinger1 on Twitter, and our website's cvins.com. But I'd love to hear from people. And like I say, anytime agents reach out, especially members of our association, I love working for them. I love helping other people out and be successful, because there's a lot of business out there, and we should all write it up.
Yes. And I'm James Lott Jr., and IIABCal Voices is on my network, JLJ Media. You can find us on YouTube. Just go ahead, there's a playlist. You go right there and just click subscribe, and it's right there, and listen and watch it. Or on every streaming service platform. You can hear the audio version. So if you're at the gym, or taking a walk the dog, or hanging out or driving somewhere, you can put us on wherever you find your favorite podcast. It could be Spotify, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio. We are all those platforms. So go ahead and follow us there. So use the follow button or subscribe button. It's one of the two. So you can get all the different interviews with people I talk to in the insurance industry. And I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold, at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. I am everywhere, even on TikTok. I give tips on TikTok. I don't know. Somehow reason I'm a star on there or whatever. But I'm on there too. But James Lott Jr. across the board, and it's Lott with 2 T's. And everyone, please be safe, try to stay sane, and have compassion.